Early exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
Today is October 11, and it is globally observed as the day for the International Day for the Girl Child. And the 2024 theme is Girls' Vision for the Future. It highlights the importance of listening and supporting girls' vision for their life. What do they want to become? What do they see themselves as? And that's what we're looking at this morning as we're joined in studio by Dr. Tewa Onasanya, who is an author, entrepreneur, and mindset stylist. Come on, when you're talking about vision, I'm not talking about, someone asking, maybe an optician asking how clear is your sight? Do you have good vision? Talking about what you see yourself. So first of all, it's something that is conceptualized in the mind. So that's why we brought here a mind stylist who will be speaking to how girls can shape the vision of what they want to be in future. Good morning, Tewa.
Good morning.
Good morning. Glad
Good
to have you
morning.
join us.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Same here. It's our pleasure.
I like the colorful designs on your dress. When you talk about girl, people are thinking sometimes maybe you want to see a very young girl, but a woman is a girl any day, anytime.
Any day, anytime. Any day, anytime. We're still somebody's baby.
Yeah.
Yes. You're right about that. So this is our day, right?
Yes, it is our day, and we're owning it.
Yeah.
We'll put it
You're
for
making me
Follow
feel
it.
start now. I can understand. I know it's your day.
Don't worry,
Celebrate.
baby. When is Father's Day?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shy.
International Boy Day.
We're also part of the celebration.
Oh yes,
So
because
you too.
every man has a girl
Yeah,
in their life,
that's
either
it.
as a daughter,
Exactly.
a sister,
Mother.
wife, a mother.
Yeah.
Girl is a girl, even at 120.
Yes.
So it is, they don't like to,
No, that's why you find that sometimes when you ask a woman her age and she's like,
they don't like
hey, don't tell their age.
Actually, I think now we're getting to a point where we don't mind talking about our age because
Okay.
it's now, we're now in the mindset of, I am how old I am, and take it or leave it.
So it's a mind
thing.
thing.
So,
I
It's
don't
how you feel.
yeah,
I don't think
so-
that's fashionable in Africa, but let's get
Really?
back to the conversation.
okay. Thank you for telling my age.
Right, so
Exactly.
girls' vision for the future. This is another International Day for the Girl
Girl
Child.
Child.
There have been several, and there will be many more.
Mhm.
And they've always had different themes. But looking at the girl's vision for the future is like
Mhm.
asking, what do you see? Asking the girl
The
child,
girl.
what do you see? And not dictating or painting a future for her.
Mm.
Now, how did it get us here? What was the journey like moving from when girls were told what they could do
Exactly.
and could not do to a time where it's saying, okay, let's see your future from
Your
lens.
perspective.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a great welcoming idea because, like you've rightly mentioned, in the past, well, when I say in the past, we have to be very careful about the past as well because, during my time, we weren't dictated to of what we want, what do you want to do, or so what we wanted to do, or things like that. But way past, and I would say maybe my mother's time or, even older generation, there were certain things that girls couldn't do. There were certain things that you were limited to even think you could do. And it's just a case of now that we're in the age where even if you don't ask them, they will tell you. And it's all about now just encouraging them to speak up, encouraging them to, get in tune with that mindset of they can do whoever and, do whatever it is they want to do. So it's a great welcoming idea and I am here for it, especially being an advocate for women empowerment. So this is so I'm here for it.
All right, it's quite interesting, a special day like this is dedicated to us raising the awareness of the issues, everyday issues being faced by the girl
The girl
child
child.
globally. And now because for us to solve the problem, we need to paint a picture of what it is now. So
Yeah.
as someone who has engaged in mind shift activities or exercises over the years, what has been your observation as regards to this position to a girl child globally? Then let's talk about some of the issues peculiar to Africa here in terms of the disposition to a girl child, the issue of inequality and all that. Give us a picture of some of your findings in the course of your activities as regards to disposition to girl child in Africa, most importantly.
Great question. So what I have seen is that people have been limited by whatever the society, even the home, has put into them. And I'm going to cite myself as an example. I grew up in a family of all girls. And in that family, we were not told that we couldn't do X, Y, Z. So we had this vision, or we had this mindset that we could do whatever it is. But when I began to go into the society, that was when I realized, oh, you're a woman doing this, you're a woman doing that. There was that segregation.
It's a different
So
ballgame.
it's a different ballgame. So really and truly, the mindset has been, oh, because I'm a girl, I shouldn't, reach for this much. Because I'm a girl, I shouldn't maybe earn as much as the boy is earning, even though we're in the same class or we went to the same university and things like that. So now the work is just helping women, especially, retrain their mindset to know that you're a human being, no, a human being first, not a girl, not a boy. We're all human beings, and whatever you can do, man, we can do as well. And just putting yourself out there, because a lot of us, even at this age, even older people, don't put themselves out there. You would see, I'm going to cite an example of maybe going to a conference. You will see a conference discussing, matters that women should know about, or, discussing matters that there are women in that field, and the place will be filled with men on the panel. And you're thinking, but surely there's a woman in real estate, there's a woman in engineering, there's a woman in, XYZ. She should be able to do that. And globally as well, we still see that in some countries, women are still being suppressed. Girls are still being, told not to go to school, not being educated, not to, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's still going on globally. But we have to champion the fight and say that, okay, this is what we knew in the past. We're retuning our minds to say, okay, this is the future. The future is a future where everybody is equal. I'm not saying, oh, equal in the home, because there are different dynamics to it, but equal in the sense that we went to the same school, or we have the same degree, let's earn the same amount. I can do whatever I want to do. I can be at a meeting at 2 a.m. if I need to be. It's not just because he's a man, he can do that. So it's just retuning that mind and making women, understand the fact that you are enough, and believing in yourself as well. That is a big thing, because over the years we've been suppressed, we've been told pulled down and things like that. So it takes I always say this, that it took a while for that mindset to be placed on women or girls. So it's going to take a while for it to be retrained. So it's something that has to be intentionally done as often as possible.
So while the mindset has been worked on, there seems to be a force in the environment that fights against that mindset from being formed and being very active. You've talked about how you grew up in your home, and in your home, you did not have a consciousness of, hey, I'm a girl, there are certain things I can't
do. Yeah.
Until you got out and you began to see that there was some sort of discrimination or classification as to what a man can do, what a woman cannot do. So in today's age, we see that women are very educated.
Yeah.
So it's not really an issue of women can go to school or girls can be educated. We've passed that to a good extent. But there seems to be a ceiling over what the woman can be. Maybe not written somewhere, but dictated by the environment. And sometimes being pushed by women.
Yeah.
So we have women who are architects, who are doctors and lawyers. But when it comes to leadership, you still find people say, hey, tone it down, you're a woman. You don't need to come out so strong. Why do we still have that?
We still have that because of the society. And we still have that because of men that want us to be suppressed. We still have
the men that wants the women to...
Not only men.
The question is this: is it the men really that wants women to be suppressed, or it's women?
No, I'm saying
more
both. So I was coming to that. So we still have men who want women to be suppressed, and we have women as well who want to be the only one, so to speak. Some women, not all women, who want to be the only one. But the thing is, I don't conform to the norm. Probably from my upbringing and the mindset I have. You go into the society and they're saying you can't do this, you can't do that. You change the norm. You be the change. Because if we're expecting the society to tell us how to behave or tell us what to do, then we're going to be here for a long time. I mean, the UN has been talking about women, gender equality for so many years. I mean, since God knows how long, and we still have... In fact, the stats says we probably still have about 200 or so years to go. I think I read somewhere. So we still have a long way to go. So the onus is on us, actually. You determine how people treat you. You determine how, how circumstances fit whatever it is you're doing. So yes, the society might say XYZ, but in fact, I don't even think it's going to take that long, because the Gen Zs are rising up to the occasion. They're telling you exactly what they want and, going out there to get exactly what they desire. Now, I did mention that some men want women suppressed, but some men are advocate for women empowerment, advocates, for the girls. I would cite my dad as an example. I mean, all of us are graduates. All of us are, women doing whatever it is we want in our own right. And it has to be from the fact that he was, an enabler, so to speak. And it's like, okay, you know what? Yes, they're girls, but they still have to be the best at what they're doing. They still have to become the best and things like that. So we also have to take the honors and not just play lip service to, oh yeah, girl empowerment or women empowerment. No, but we're taking action. So whatever the society is conforming into us, we have to reject it and just be able to put our heads high and do what is necessary.
I'm going to ask you this now, in changing the narrative, and that's some mistakes that have been made by women while trying to change the narrative. And in that attempt, they've created a different narrative that doesn't quite represent. One of them is the feminist move. What's your take on that? What should be the right way in changing the narrative to a future that the girl would say, this is what I want to be, and this is who we are as girls?
Personally, I think the feminism term has been taken out of context. Seriously, because feminism is not about fighting the man or saying, oh, I'm the head of the house or blah, blah. No. Feminism, to me, and from the general knowledge I know, is about equality in the workplace, in education, in healthcare. It's not about, oh, women are supposed to be above the men. No, it's not about that. It's about equality. It's about thinking everybody as human beings first, not looking at the gender first. I was saying earlier about, when I got into the society, that's when I realized that, okay, women could do this. I became a publisher because it was something that I wanted to do. It was, something I desired to do. It was later on, people were now, oh, how does it feel to be a woman in publishing? And I'm like, okay, I didn't even know that was a thing. I was just thinking of myself as a human being. So in terms of, okay, publishers that are male are able to do X, Y, Z, females are not. I'm like, no, I'm a publisher in my own right. I can also do this. So in terms of feminism, it's about, we're on the board. You can't be paying the man 5 million and say, because I'm a woman, you pay me 2 million. We have equal rights. And you can't be saying, oh, because she's a woman, she shouldn't attend certain meetings because, oh, she has to take care of her kids. We all know what we're meant to do. The man has his role at home. The woman has a role at home as well. But if we're talking about being in the society, we have to have equal rights.
All right. The subject of feminism is likely misunderstood. So if
Big
we get
time.
into that now, maybe we need another conversation for that. Well, let's talk about the girl tribe now here. You talked about limitations. And it's not just about men. You have social limitations, environmental limitations,
Cultural.
even cultural,
Yeah.
the issue of that. Now, but the issue is, if you look at the theme for this year, it says girls' vision for the future. I like the fact that your background, you're a mindset, expert. Now, for an average girl child in a place where you're born and then you're facing or contending with these limitations, what would you expect? What kind of help is necessary for this particular girl child who's been trained from a good family, she has a good vision, for a situation not to become, if I may borrow this word, other advisors, what you
got?
the kind of future you have for yourself, and the reality in your environment is not looking like it. So what kind of help will a girl child in that kind of situation, in that kind of environment, given that kind of limitations, will be given to for that girl to be able to realize a vision, and then the bright future she's envisaging, then she can get it? What kind of support is expected to give to that kind of girl child? Let's emphasize on that.
I think the first thing, the kind of support that needs to be given will start from the home. And then eventually the classroom, which is the school. The home being, the parents honing it into the girl child that she can do and be whatever it is she desires to be. That limitation will always be there because, there are different things that we're contending with every single day. But the thing is, you must not look at the limitation and let it hold you back. but instead look at the limitation and think, okay, you know what, this is a stumbling block for me to get to my next destination. And whatever vision you have for yourself as the girl child is possible for you to realize. So the parents have to instill that belief in them that they can do whatever it is they want to do, and also build their confidence as well, because we need to build our confidence. Even as older people, we still need to build our confidence. That needs to be done. And then I said the classroom as well, teachers not segregating them and saying, you know, boys will do this, the girls will not. Let everybody integrate and work together. And the vision for, you know, whatever vision anybody has can be realized if you believe in yourself. So talking about limitations will always be there, but it's just fighting your way through that limitation and saying that, okay, you can do whatever you want to do. And also looking for an example. The reason we do the Eloy Awards or, you know, Exquisite Magazine is because we want to showcase women that are doing exceptionally well, so that the younger women can see people like them, so to speak, that they can emulate. It's always good to see an example of where you want to go to. It might not be the exact example, but at least it's a representation of where you want to go to. So classroom teachers, we're talking also getting mentors or, you know, people that you hold in high esteem, that you can share things with and that can advise you and not look down on you because you're a girl.
So we have about more than 1.1 billion girls in the world. That's a large number. And you know, when they say, if you educate a girl, you educate
The community.
the community, because hey, she'll become a mother of children and be the one who influences them, because she
Yeah.
spends more time with them.
Mhm.
When we talk about empowerment, apart from education, if we're looking at the future and the current trend,
Yeah.
what are the areas that should be focused on in empowering today's girl for tomorrow?
For tomorrow. My big one is the belief and the building the confidence. Because that needs to be, you can be as confident as you think you're confident. You get to a place and somebody says something and everything comes shattering down. So it's building that confidence. That is empowerment. Being able to hold your head high anywhere you go to, knowing that you're not always right, but then again, you know, leaving that room to learn, but you're confident in yourself. You have that belief in yourself that you can, that you can hold your ground. So I think that is very, very important. And that is the start of empowerment. And it's a mindset thing as well. If you're confident and you're continuing to build your confidence, how do you build your confidence? By doing something that ordinarily you don't know how to do. And then you get better at it. You know, going to different places that ordinarily you probably will be scared of going into. But you're building your confidence by, you know, putting yourself in those situations. So in terms of empowerment, is building that confidence and then building resilience as well. Fall down 9 times, rise up 10, because life will always throw something at you. So you must make sure that you're building that resilience as well. So those for me are the important things, and obviously doing the work, taking action, not saying, because I'm a girl or because I'm beautiful, I can walk into any door. Yes, you can walk into any door, but when you get to the table, what do you bring to the table? What is your intellectual, for the lack of a better word, intellectual property? What is it like? My mom always says something to us when we were younger, that your education is your property. Nobody can take it away from you. And that's been instilled in me. And I still hold on to that belief till today. So even though I'm a beautiful, very beautiful woman, what do I bring to the table in terms of my intellect? And that intellect can only be built over time by being confident. And for you to be confident, you need to be learning. You need to be, educating yourself every single time, knowing what's going on.
All right. When you're having this kind of conversation, I always love to talk about the African feel, So let's talk about the plight of an African girl child. I'm an African and I'm passionate about that, because you must acknowledge the peculiarity of a girl child. What they go through here could be different from other climes. So let's talk about the African continent, where you have the issue of out of school children.
Yeah.
And if you look at the statistics, most of these out of school children are girls. Now, what kind of attention should be given to this trend? Most importantly, in the North, it's becoming, an issue to deal with, and girls are largely affected. Yeah, let's talk about this issue. What should be done to address it? Should there be a special bill, a special attention to ensure that this is kicked out for the society to be better for it?
I like the idea of a special bill, because I think that, a bill does need to be created where you ensure that every child is in school. make sure every child is in school. But for us to even, or for the bill to be understood, the parents needs to be educated as well. Because we're mentioning the North and some other parts of Nigeria or parts of Africa. Some of the men or some of the fathers still have this notion in their heads that there's no point in training a girl child because she's going to be married off someday anyway. So her husband will take care of her. So the parents need to be educated. Every single thing that happens to every single one of us in this life starts from the home. Once the father understands and the mother understands that the girl child needs to be educated, then when a bill is passed, they can adhere to it and work towards it. So I would say that it definitely needs to be, having a conversation with the fathers and the mothers. And the reason I say the fathers more is because obviously head of the house situation, and the mothers will listen to what the fathers say.
But why do you think some of these fathers have issues with their girls being educated?
I think it's a case of, it might be a little bit biased. I think it's, culture, in the sense that they believe if a girl child is educated, then she's enlightened and then can fight for herself. That's what I believe. Because if you look at the olden days, actually not even the olden days, even it happens in recent times where the women are not that educated, they're suppressed more. And they can't do or say anything because they're being suppressed. So I feel like, fathers probably think, maybe not out of their doing, but the cultural thing that has been instilled in them that, if this girl is trained to an extent, then she won't be marriable, so to speak, because she will get to her husband's house and be saying XYZ to the people there. So I think, it's largely a case of awareness and education. Every single thing in life is about what you know. Because when you know something, you act from that basic understanding. And when you know better, then you can eventually do better. So it's just about letting people know that educating the girl child is not in any way going to bring disgrace to your family, but in other ways, actually bring, respect to the family. And we have to even show examples of girls that are doing exceptionally well in different spheres of life, being able to, hold their homes, hold their businesses, their husbands, their society, things like that. So they just need to, it's hard work that needs to be done. It's a case of who wants to do the work and who wants to be fighting the fight. But I mean, everybody is doing their little fight in the little pockets, and we're getting somewhere, but more can still be done, especially with the fathers and the mothers.
Sir, the fathers are educated, I'm assuming now, and we have a situation where the fathers are educated, the mothers are educated, but then there's poverty. What role does this play?
There's so many factors. There's so many factors to play. And yes, poverty is, part of the factor. So some people might be like, okay, instead of sending a child to school, we might as well buy food and things like that. So in as much as the family has an onus on how the girl child's life plays out, the government has a role to play in that as well. Because the reason there's poverty is probably because of the economic situation of the country, or of the world, so to speak, if we want to be general. So yes, poverty does play a role. But you know what? Education is not only about going to school. It's about learning, what they can at home. And for you to be able to learn what you can at home, you have to have somebody that's, to an extent a bit literate. Maybe not necessarily literate, but at least can teach you something. So if the father is willing and he's educated, in your example, he can start to teach the girl child or the boy child, his children, on how to move forward, on what they can do and who they can be, whatever it is. And there's always, different ways and there are always different ways to do things, even though, yes, poverty is in the mix. I mean, we have free schools.
Free schools, do we have free books as well?
Well, not necessarily, but we have free schools. We have free schools, and we can champion free books and free other things as well, just to make sure that we're ticking the box. But like I said, the government has a hand in it. The parents have a hand in it as well.
I'm going to ask you this. So with poverty in the mix, and we are in a time where there's so much influence from social media. Earlier you highlighted role modeling, but it seems as these people choose who they want to be their role model. Yeah. So I see you rising through your own means. You're educated, you pursue a career, I see someone else who doesn't have to go through so much work but making so much money, and there's poverty biting. And maybe my father wants to marry me off at an early age. All of these challenges that today's girl child is faced with, where does that leave her? What support should she get to rise above these challenges?
Tough one. Tough one, tough one, tough one. I think it would be a decision that the mother of the girl child has to make, and even the girl child as well. I mean, I know there are situations where you don't have a
Let the
choice.
fathers now.
Well, because the
They're
father's the one
parents.
trying to the father's trying to marry her off. Because it's usually the fathers, isn't it? No,
Because if you leave the father out of here, he's the one making the
he's the
decision.
one making the decision. But the mother can coerce the father. Yeah, the mother can coerce the father. And that's why I said it has to be the decision of the initial decision of the mom. So she can now speak to the father. Because if the mom is on the same page with the dad, then there's going to be war. Because even if the girl doesn't want to, the mother's going to say, this is best for you. And this is what I know. This is, this is how, this is the way, this is the only thing I know. So you have to follow in that footstep as well. But if the mother understands that there are women doing exceptionally well, even though she couldn't do it because of the way she was raised, but she sees other people doing it and she desires that for her child, she can coerce the father, speak to him and see what can be done. But, we still have years to go. We still have different foundational things to work through, and we still have so many things that has to be done, and the conversation can't end here. And it continues. So it's just a case of us, looking through every year, every time, what processes can we put in place to help the girl child? Yes, we're talking about education. We're talking about potentially free education. What about educating the mothers? What about educating the fathers? What about educating these older men that these young ladies will probably be married off to let them understand that, okay, you know what, at least, I mean, I think to an extent, some of the men even train the girls when they get married to them. I've seen in some instances, yeah. It's all about education. And when I say education, not formal education, but speaking to them to let them understand the way life is now.
We were talking about the issue of early child marriage, which is quite peculiar in Africa, not just limited to Africa, but the peculiarities here. Now, let's look at the factors responsible for it. You talked about the need for parents to be educated, but you also observe that some of those parents are educated, or you have their disposition to customs or even the religion angle to this, and then it's becoming a struggle. So what can be done to ensure that the issue of early child marriage, which if we were according to the United Nations standard, is being frowned against because of the age factor and the fact that those girls can't make decisions on their own? But like what Blessing said, you have issue of poverty playing a role here. Maybe the parents feel, okay, let's give the child to a man who is wealthy as a way to come out of poverty. It's also another factor. So let's paint all these factors to help an average girl child facing this challenge to overcome it. You have the religious angles, you have the culture, and the role of education. In all this, how do we resolve this problem? Child marriage.
It's a big one. Especially if, especially since a lot of the men believe it's something that is their right, so to speak, because of religious purposes or cultural things. But what I would say is, yes, we've mentioned education, but it's also, yes, I've mentioned education, which is a part of it as well, but it's really being able to rewire their mindset about how they see the girl child and how they see child marriages as well. I suppose a lot of them do see, they have girl children and they can see that, okay, this person is too young to be a wife to somebody else. But because of what a mindset is not something that just develops like that. It's something that was developed over time. So from the generation before them to the generation now. And it's more, for me, I would still say it's more about educating them. Because if they're educated about the importance of or the benefit of not giving the child away at an early age, and also if the man that wants to marry the child is being educated about the fact that all the different things that can happen if the child is married off early. I mean, early pregnancies cause a lot of stuff in women. Aside from that, there are different health issues as well. If they're I'm looking for a nice word to use on TV. If they're exposed at an early age. So I still believe it's a case of being educated, not educated in a formal way, like, 2+2 kind of education, but educated in the sense that we're helping them retune their mindset.
If they're enlightened.
To see this in a different light, in a different form. Because yes, the girl is married off at, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12. What benefit really and truly is she going to be if after a while, a lot of stuff start happening to her in terms of health issues, and then regret as well on the girl's part? And for girls that are currently in a situation like that, I've said this before, and this is the only thing that I can think of at the moment, is just to say it again, that the mothers have to also be educated or enlightened in a way that they know this is not the right way. Yes, I was going to say Bible, but yes, the law states it. But then again, the law is not always right. Laws are man-made. And I have this opinion that laws are made to suit some people, way more than others. So the laws that are man-made can be reworded to suit the situation we're in now.
If we're talking about laws, we understand that when we talk about laws and policy in Nigeria, there are many laws. So when it has to do with a girl child, sometimes it's not really the absence of the law, but it's the implementation of the law.
Yeah.
So let's come to defilement, issues of defilement and rape that the girl child sometimes is exposed to. It seems like it's kind of very hard to prove when a girl has been raped that she has been raped. And it's also very hard to get justice for the girl. We find victim shaming happening, victim blaming happening. But we already have the laws to protect. Implementing the laws become the issue. And we also have women who now turn to be like doing more of victim blaming and victim shaming. How do we come out of that?
Another tough question, because all parties have a part to play. A girl that is being defiled, didn't want that situation to happen to her. But the person that did the defilement probably said to her, if you tell anybody, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill your family. So she's scared. Now, that's one scenario. Another scenario, a girl being told that will probably say, okay, you know what? I trust my mom. Let me speak to her. And then the mom wants to quieten everything and doesn't go out there to speak. So implementation of the law doesn't necessarily only, stands with the government, but with the family as well. Everything starts with the family. Because if the mother makes a lot of noise about what's happened, then she can fight for the child. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if she is also saying, oh, we don't want people to know, or okay, we know that person, we don't want to talk about it.
If the perpetrator is a family member.
Could be a family member or not. But the thing is, my big thing is, the girl that told her mom, is the mother doing anything about it? And then the girl that didn't even tell her mom, how is anything going to be done when nobody knows about what's going on? So it's a, two-way thing, or even more than two ways. Because mothers, I believe mothers have a right, even fathers have a right to fight for their child. But we're in a cultural situation where nobody wants to, victim shaming, nobody wants to say it outside. So they won't look at their daughter in a kind of way or in a certain way. And then nobody will even want to go out there. So they won't think, why is your own this much kind of thing? So the law is there, but implementing the law still lies in the family and the government as well. Because the government can put the laws everywhere. But if the people are not, harnessing their rights, so to speak, it would just be a law that's sitting there on paper.
All right. What a good time and a good comment. We're at a time where women are breaking barriers. If you look at what the crop of female CEOs we have in the banking industry are doing now. So it's enough to believe that women can also do it. An average girl child will grow up to be a lady or a woman, whichever you want to put it. So let's talk about the corporate world. the kind of challenges that are being faced by women, which eventually those girls, when they grow up, they tend to also meet the same kind of challenge. It's getting better. But what can also be done to also look at, in the workplace, the barriers against women or ladies and how to overcome them to ensure that by the time those girls grow up, they understand what is to be done in the workplace. It is good that we have role models, we can mention them.
Yeah.
But what's the role of role modeling in the corporate place to also helping the girl child to achieve their reality in a time where social media, it's the trend, and you also have influencers and social media influencers who are women playing some role in the social media space. How do we marry all this?
It's about knowing what suits that child as she grows older, and picking from what works, then looking through it and then deciding on her own, because there's so many noises everywhere and you can't listen to all the noise. You have to be able to pick which will work for you and then model that. Yes, there are so many role models, so many people that you can look up to and pick what they've done and even have conversations with them as well. I always say this, that we don't know it all. And a woman that has been there means that it's possible. So if a woman has been there, try to get an audience with that woman. Or if you're not getting an audience with that woman, see what she's doing so that you can kind of emulate that as well. It's a case of there's so many things for us to choose from. So many women. So right now, thankfully, there's so many women for us to look through their lives and choose from, what we can do and things like that. And another thing I would say is, even the women that are on top, they need to throw the ladder down so that others can, get on the ladder to get on top as well. Because you do get a situation where some are unapproachable, and then the girl or the woman now feels intimidated and, and not want to approach them to learn from them. But there's always, this thing where you have to resolve within yourself that, okay, even though there's a barrier that is being put up between us, I want to get to this position and I want to learn on how to get to this position. So to a few things, the mindset, a can-do mindset, not taking no for an answer. Yes, the limitations are there, but don't take no for an answer. So still pushing through. And then another thing, building your confidence. I said that before, because if you're meeting somebody who's attained a certain point in their career in the corporate world, you tend to be, kind of like cower and think, oh my God, she's so up there. But build your own confidence, and so that you're able to speak to this potential role model. Another big thing for me is, what do you also bring to the table? Because it's not about get. What value can you give to them as well? Because life I believe life should be symbiotic, not parasitic. So what value can you also offer them so that you're able to learn from them? Because every single thing we do in life is learning, and how we think about things as well. And our beliefs is formed from how we think. So how do you see yourself? Who do you see yourself as? What value do you, bring to the society or bring to the company? Things like that, for you to be able to now say, okay, this woman is doing what I would want to do. I would love her to, mentor me, or, for the lack of a better word, minister into me as well. Impact into your life as well. So I would say, those are my ways of, encouraging people to do that. I mentor business women a lot. And one of the things that I say to them is, because we don't know everything, I have a mentor and I've been in business for over 21 years. Because we don't know it all, we have to always look at someone that has been there. Not necessarily someone that you can meet every single, that you can see. But, somebody out there could be international as well, consuming whatever it is they're putting out there, their books, their videos, their interviews, things like that, to grow yourself. The girl child has to understand that she is a powerhouse and can do whatever she wants to do. And that's the mindset that we need to imbibe in our children.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned it being a symbiotic relationship, not parasitic. Good. So we have different generations, and sometimes it's not particular to any gender, but we seem to have this thing between the older generation and the younger generation. Sometimes the older generation looking down on the younger generation and like, oh, you people don't have respect. You people are lazy. You people don't know how to do this. It was different in our time. And the younger generation looking to the older generation, oh, your time is past. You didn't know how to do this. So there seems to be a brag, each generation bragging about what they can do or about what they know. When do we come to that meeting point? If we're talking about girls, girls' vision for the future. So I know earlier we said a woman is a girl, even if she's 120. But let's not come to reality.
The girl.
So there's a difference. There's a girl. Some would say there's a lady, and then there's a woman. But there's a girl, there's a woman. So if you ask the girl what she sees about the future, times are changing, the trends are changing. How do we now come to the older generation having a sit or being able to flow with the younger generation and seeing what the future is through their eyes and using what they've learned, what they know to also guide the girl, benefit from it as well, since the symbiotic relationship, and then move for the future. You have an organization. What is your organization doing in this aspect of molding, shaping the mindset, not just of the young girl, but of the woman to be able to work with a young girl for the future?
Yeah. So, in as much as you've said that, there are still the older generation women that want to work with the younger women, that would even prefer to work with the Gen Zs because they want to see things from their perspective. They want to also move with the times. So I think, well, what I would say is know exactly what you want and don't believe everything you think. The reason I say that is if you're looking at this older generation woman and thinking, oh, she's going to say I'm this, she's going to think I'm this, you're already talking yourself out of it. So what do you want, from the relationship? Define it from the beginning. A lot of people don't know what they want. They have an idea, but they don't really know what they want. And this is what my organization say to our business owners, that you have to decide exactly what you want. Because if you come to me, for instance, a 20-year-old comes to me and she's all over the place. She doesn't know exactly what she wants, but she just, because it's Tewa, she wants to. No, I'm going to be like, okay, so, what exactly are we doing here? What do you want for yourself? What do you want from this relationship? On our mentoring program, they fill a form. We call it the Get to Know You form. And on the Get to Know You form, we always say to them that from your mentor, what do you want? What goal do you want? Because it's not about saying that, that person is my mentor and leaving it at that. It's more about the relationship you want to have. What do you aim to get out of it? And the older generation also have to, address what they want to gain out of it. Because we're all on a learning curve. We all have to determine what you're. I always say this as well, that whatever you greet life with is what life will greet you with as well. So if you're going to meet an older lady, or the older lady is coming to meet a younger lady with the preconception that, she's going to think she's bigger than me, she's going to think she's going to brag, that's what's going to happen because you thought about it. You can't think of X and then get Y. You thought about it. That's what's going to happen. I think we all have to, even though it happens, but we have to have a mindset, an open mindset of, okay, I admire this woman. I want to be able to learn from her. I want to work with her. Let me try to approach her. Let me, send her a respectful, and then you try to know the person you're sending a message to as well. Is the person that likes to be called auntie or madame, or do you understand what I mean? And not you, because I know that the Gen Zs are very liberal nowadays. They'll just see you and call you by your name. And there you are, you're thinking, where did you come from? So learn the culture as well. It's like culture of anywhere. So learn the way the woman is, learn the culture of wherever you're going to, even if it's an organization. So it's about, quenching the thirst of the thirsty perception, if you understand what I mean, of the hungry perception, and just looking at, okay, this is what I have identified as what I want. This is a woman that I think can help me. How can I be of value to her in a respectful way that she would want to teach me as well, and also learn from me as well? Because everybody's learning from one another. So that's part of what we do in the organization as well, making sure that, especially with the mindset things, we're putting structures in place for you to be able to build yourself and your business. Because if personal development is not great, the business is not going to be great, or the career. So who are you as a person? Have you done your self-audit? Do you know who you are? Do you know what you want? Do you know what you bring to the table? as well. And it all, we said it, mindset and the belief in yourself.
All right. I'm tempted to even expand or to even continue with this conversation, but we just have to resist that temptation and leave this conversation. Yeah, it's an ongoing conversation.
It
There'll be
is.
another time to talk about. I like the fact that you emphasize on the issue of mentorship. There
Oh, yeah.
should be that synergy between what I call the old school and the new school for you to learn, and then for the society to get better. Variety is the spice of
Oh,
life.
right,
So
exactly.
the old one must learn to relate with the Gen Zs, which is what you've also emphasized.
I mean, just to cite an example with the magazine, if we are not moving with the times and learning with the Gen Z, we'll still be printing the magazine that everybody reads on their phones.
And the interesting thing is, we are not deliberate about their mentorship. There are mentors on social medias.
Exactly.
Social media, but you don't have to
Yes.
look for.
They could get the bad and the ugly if they're not careful.
Very true. So you have to be careful as well. And I say this as well, that not everybody is your mentor, because you might see the surface and think, oh, I want to learn from, but not everybody is your mentor. You just have to decide. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. A lot of people are not exactly sure of what they want. So that self-audit still needs to be done. What do I want and who do I think can help me to get here?
All right.
There's many takeaways from what you said.
Yeah.
Self-audit is a mind thing. Well, those are critical. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Onasanya. She's a woman of many parts, author, entrepreneur, mindset, stylist, all in one. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And for your thoughts on this development. All right, it's still International Day for the Girl Child, and let me seize this opportunity to appeal to all the men, all the fathers that are out there. It's our responsibility to collaborate with our women, with our wives, to ensure that these children become better. For fathers who are still reserved or restrained about training their girl child or sending them to school, I must confess to you, that's old-fashioned, you're old school. The reality is, those girls, they are in position to also build community and also contribute to nation building. It is your responsibility as a father to ensure that you do your best so that these girls become better. Don't forget, it's Friday and it's time for you to relax. You can do a catch-up of all our conversations on all our social media platforms, on YouTube, Facebook, X. As Early Exchange, you always return bigger and better. I am Femi Ayodele. Thanks for watching. We'll wrap up here and see you on Monday.
Because it's International Day for the Girl Child, give a girl a flower. If you're Nigerian, well, Nigerian girls have their own definition of flower. It could be you buying a pizza, I don't know, but celebrate the girl child. I am blessing AJ. Monday will be another time for Early Exchange. Market Insight comes up at 11 here on Sook News TV. Do enjoy your weekend.
Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.